Hello, my name is Santiago Victor-Vega, and today we will be discussing and answering the question, what does it mean to be a Chicano? For me, being a Chicano means embracing both cultures in which I fall under. One being the culture of my American reality, the way I grew up, what I've known all my life, and secondly, the Mexican heritage in which I share that comes from my family, my community, and the surroundings in which I find myself between me and other Chicanos or people who identify with Mexican heritage. The word Chicano itself has a long and very complicated history. Its origins are very highly debated. However, the best explanation that I could come up with towards its origins is that it came derived from the word Mexicano, to which they shortened up to better identify those who came from that Mexican culture. However, it was used at one point as a derogatory term in order to put down low income Mexican Americans. This all came to a change, however, as in the 1960s through the 1970s, civil rights for farm workers was starting to ramp up, and which caused for many to start rebranding the use of Chicano in a more positive light. From there, the Chicano movement was able to turn the word into a symbol of pride, activism, and resistance. For myself, the term connects directly to my family's story, and many others who share this type of story as well, navigating a new life between two cultures, trying to keep traditions alive, and pushing for dignity and respect, and most of all, equality. My parents came from Mexico to California, and growing up, I saw how hard they struggled and worked just to keep us sheltered and fed. I understood later on in life the types of stereotypes that they would come to be just from their being Mexican. For a while, I didn't know where I stood, but eventually I came to find out that the use of Chicano was not a weakness, but instead strength. The use of the word, my use of the word, and my pride to use that word to represent myself is not just representing me, but also representing my parents and the resilience and struggle to which they had to come to the new country with their old customs, traditions in order to survive. However, this isn't the only example in which you can understand and see the power of why one should identify as Chicano the way I do. Another reason is the streets that I walk on. The streets of Santa Ana, some neighborhoods are filled with murals that represent Mexican traditions, with the mariposas monarcas, la Virgen Guadalupe, or other traditional dances that can be seen in several murals across the neighborhoods of Santa Ana, California. It represents how Chicano is a beautiful mix between two cultures that could show themselves artistically and creatively. Not only can you see this in art in my day-to-day walk seeing these murals, but you see it in the food as well. How shops and different areas blend Mexican and American cultures in order to create beautiful cuisines that represent today's people, the people in which I represent under, Chicanos. Overall, my takeaway of being a Chicano, it doesn't mean that I'm less American. It doesn't mean that I'm less Mexican. It means that I'm able to celebrate the roots, my heritage, where I came from, and also use the culture in which I grew up under, to which I identify very well with, and that I have a deep and rooted understanding, and be able to use both of those types of cultures to not only create a new mesh of ideas, perspectives, and struggles, but in order to respect the identity of others and keep striving for equity. Chicano is a representation for me of struggle as well as empowerment, and it's a term to which I proudly am able to identify with. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.